Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. Let's talk about Survivor 48, episode 9. The muscles are done.
The bros, the strong ones.
Strong on my draft.
Don't even. No. All right, we're going to get into it. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
And you can support us on Patreon at
Thumbs up for this like pumpkin Halloween thing happening.
Fallish today. This is kind of Easter pastel-y kind of, but it like plays into what you've got going on that it feels like.
I should have gone Easter pastel, but I didn't. I went.
They still work together.
Anyway, here we are.
Here we are. Okay, so yes, the strong alliance is getting busted up. I knew it was only a matter of time. I think we all knew that. There are various members of this strong alliance who thought we're going to play a loyal game to the end. And once we get to the end of this recap, I want to talk about your exit interview with David because there's just so much good stuff to cover. But we're coming off of Chrissy's elimination. And she was the one who was like shooting up the flares about y'all can't let these strong men run the game.
No, you gotta break them up. Her impact.
Her impact.
It worked.
She was just one vote too soon.
Just one vote too soon.
Yeah.
So when we're coming back from that tribal, it's dark. They're talking. And David, for some reason, is going to tell Camilla he floated her name.
Yeah, I was so confused watching this because I was like, it seems like David is apologizing for writing her name down.
Right, when he did not.
But he didn't. It was all Chrissy and one Shaheen from Chrissy. But basically, Camilla's like, F you, bitch. You're a horrible liar.
She was like, I know the truth.
Like, you are dead to me. We are never going to work together. Not that we ever were
never,
before. Although they were original Siva together. So they had at least something.
I think they were like partially aligned at one point. But she knows the truth anyway. And she's like, yeah, you're a bad liar.
Yeah.
But I think he was saying it because he's playing a loyal, honest game, David.
Yeah.
So he thought he'd get in front of the fact that he was working behind her back.
He's, it's like, look, yeah, I floated your name and I want to be honest and loyal to you and telling you that. But I didn't actually vote for you. So there's that.
Yeah.
I also love how Shaheen was like, Chrissy's going on and on about the muscles. Why she vote for me? I'm not the muscles. Like, Shaheen, you might be at the bottom of that foursome, but you are in the foursome of muscles.
You might not have as many muscles as them,
but people are thirsting after you, Shaheen. If you don't already know that, I want you to know.
Are people thirsting after Shaheen?
I know people who are thirsting after Shaheen.
He's a cutie patoots.
Part of the muscle crew. Yeah. But I love how he's like, I'm not the muscles.
Me? I mean, David's going to tell us, like, he's still concerned. Like, there was something up. He didn't know about this Kyle. Why did he want Camilla so bad?
I knew that David was not feeling good about that he was going to be suspicious. I also love Mary stroking the ego. You're more than a shield.
Oh, my God. She really was.
You are so much more than a shield, David. I don't want you to think that.
I was like, Mary, what are you doing?
I would like to think
you guys have just always been used as shield, and you are more than that.
I would like to think that is masterful gameplay manipulation.
I am going to assume that.
Yeah. Where she's like,
just like, yes, David, yes.
You're more than that. You're more where she's like, I'm gonna beat you so hard at the end of the game, but I don't want you coming for me, because she sees what just happened, where Chrissy plants her flag in the ground like anti-muscle, and she gets sent to the jury. So Mary's like, couldn't be me. I'm taking the opposite route.
She's like, I'll cozy up under David's wing for sure.
I still have a lot of faith in Mary for this game. But let's get into the next day. Day 16. We have 10 days left of this game.
Oh my gosh. Okay. The 6th. At first we see them just loving life.
And Shaheen will not shut up about painting the flag. He is determined to paint that. He's got another morning and he's like, guys, we got to paint that flag.
Gotta get on that flag today.
We have to paint the flag.
Today we're gonna have a day a little off, so let's get to that flag. Yeah, what is it? He's like missing his arts and crafts.
Keeps bringing it up. I don't know why.
He just really wants to like.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna get a shot of it later, and I was like, it wasn't that impressive, guys.
Yeah. Not worth your time.
I'm like, it's fine. It's a flag, but like, I really thought you had something for me, Shaheen.
Yeah, but it is the strong 6 on the beach together, welcoming the dawn. And I don't know where the rest of the tribe is, but we see these 6 together, and Mary's still kind of floating Camilla's name.
No, excuse me. David was like, Mary, is it still Mary? What would you like?
Oh, because David's like, I'm gonna take a backseat.
Yeah, David's like, I'll just take a backseat. But Mary, what was it that you were saying?
What was the name?
Go ahead, Mary. Go ahead.
And Kyle, to his credit, is very chill in this one. Mary's like, I still am like, ooh, Camilla, she is making me nervous. And Kyle does not stick his neck out. And I'm like, good, because you stuck it out far enough in the previous episode.
Mm-hmm. But we are going to then move on to Kyle. And he's like, obviously, and not happy with David, not getting along with him. And so he is going to go to Shaheen.
Mm-hmm.
Because Shaheen missed a lot of these combos in the last episode because he was like a part of the whole with Camilla.
Exactly. So Kyle's like, just so you know.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the whole conversation, he's masking his own alliance with Camilla. He's like, David thinks you are with Camilla.
Right.
Nothing to do with me.
Well, David,
I don't even know Camilla, but you
who is she?
Are with Camilla.
Yeah.
Per David.
Just
so you know.
And Shaheen is like, oh, what? And of course, Kyle's like fanning the flames of like, that is a shot at you, sir.
Yeah.
David, be worried about you.
Right. Well, and then of course, it becomes like, is Mary the target?
Right.
Because we want to take out Mary to weaken David. And I'm like,
we saw that coming.
Not you dare.
How dare you
do that?
How dare you?
Yeah. So at the same time, David is nervous about Shaheen and Kyle.
Of course.
I gotta say, David is reading the room 100%. Correctly.
100%.
Like him or not, he clocked the Kyle and Camilla thing.
Yep.
I don't think Shaheen and Camilla was as much of a thing, but like there might be something there. But like now he's clocking Shaheen and Kyle. Like the man is good at kind of like stepping outside of himself and seeing what's happening.
He is getting a decent read.
Yeah.
I think he just didn't handle it as smoothly as maybe he could have.
No, because
but he is reading it.
Eva's the wrong person to pull aside and be like, we're going to blow this thing up. Because Eva, I mean, maybe they don't know this as well as we do as viewers because of like the backstory we're getting about Eva. She looks like stability. She's got the people she trusts and she trusts them.
Yeah.
And that's it. And there's no changing that. So David and Mary pull her aside and they're like, you need to be careful of Shaheen and Kyle.
I mean, the way that they're like, and then her, and then like they do sound a little paranoid when they're kind of just like calming at Eva like that.
But I have to imagine that happens all the time.
Yeah, because you're probably like sneaking off and you don't have time to talk. And you're just like, blah, 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 I got to get this out real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eva, like she's telling us, like, I can't really read who's lying and who's not.
Yeah.
But I know I need to keep my alliance like this.
Yeah.
This is my security and my stability. And she's just getting,
I just kind of feel like it's interesting because like I'm watching this and if I didn't know what I know about Eva, I'd be like, this woman is living in a fantasy land.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
How can you not understand blah, blah, blah?
Right.
But like, I know what I know about Eva and Eva knows herself. So I'm actually kind of surprised that we haven't seen more of her being like, hey, Joe, hey, whoever I trust, do I have a bad read on this situation? Like, this is what I'm hearing.
I know.
And what do you think?
Yeah. I wonder if we're not getting that in the edit. I'm hoping it's happening because like later when Joe's talking to her, I was like, we can't just be like, whatever you want, Eva. I'm like, no. She's not fully reading the sit.
Literally, I said in episode 1, I was like, Joe is going to hitch his wagon so hard to Eva, and he is going to lose in order to help her win. And we are like seeing that happen in this episode.
I think we kind of are.
But then we see Kyle try to smooth it over with David. And that trips a trigger in David where he's like, what are you talking about? I thought that was behind us. Why are you even bringing it up? You remember this?
Yes. I don't think he was trying to smooth things over. I think he got caught in a conversation. I think David walked up and was like, what's going on?
Oh.
That's how I read it. I don't know if that's accurate, but it was like mid-conversation either way. And Kyle's like, oh, just like, making sure we're all good. And David's like, I thought we were.
I thought we were good.
And Kyle's
and by the way, we should have been good yesterday. Yesterday was supposed to be easy. That's why I had a problem to begin with.
Why wasn't it? It should have been easy. So he went from it should be good back around to why wasn't it easy?
It is so not even a veiled threat. His body language, his facial expression, his tone of voice, everything is saying, you are in trouble, my man.
You're in trouble, yo.
Yeah. And so Kyle's like, oh my God, I can't work with this.
At this point, because Kyle says something like, man, sorry. Like he doesn't say sorry, I don't think, but he's like, I'm an emotional guy. Like he's trying to express, like, give me permission to behave the way that I behave.
Yeah.
Like, you know, David's doing a little bit of like gaslighting of like, you shouldn't be.
He's like,
having emotions.
Check yourself.
Yeah.
And Eva's like, ha ha ha, we're all good. Stop fighting.
Yeah. I had to go to their astrology once. Kyle said I'm an emotional person. I was like, scroll astrology. And I forgot that both David and Kyle are Scorpios. So we have a battle of two Scorpios here who, of course, have different moons.
Of course.
And David's moon is a Leo moon. Tell us about being a Leo, David.
Well, you're always right.
Yes.
Center of attention. The world revolves around you.
Please.
Yeah.
And Kyle's is the Taurus moon. It has nothing to do with that. It has more to do with like his senses and other things. But it was very fascinating to watch like two Scorpios kind of battle.
100%. And like, this is one of those moments where I'm like, it's so easy to say this from these chairs.
Yeah, of course.
But like, it feels like to me, a very clear moment of the importance of being fluid in this game and knowing when to cut off what was once a strong relationship. And now recognizing, like, if I'm Kyle, I'm like, this is never going to get fixed.
Right.
What I have going with David right now. And so, yes, I was working with him, but now is the time that I have to cut this off and cut my losses and move on.
Yeah.
Because you can't, like, the Survivor game is so short. This is not real life where you're like, let's sit down and have a conversation and fix this. As soon as it breaks down, cut it off and move on.
Yeah. Interesting though. You're bringing up adaptability. It's going to come up later in tribal as well. But back to astrology. All of those signs I just mentioned are fixed signs. They do not like to adapt. So Scorpio suns do not really want to waver. Whatever they've set their minds to, they kind of want to stick with it. Leos would like to stick with it.
Yeah.
So David's got double of that. And Kyle has double of it too because Taurus moon. So both of their suns and moons are like, here's how I'm planning on doing this. And I'm going to stick with the way that I'm doing it. So neither one of them really wants to budge.
Does Eva fit in to that too?
Where she, I don't know.
Lays out her plan and sticks to it. I wonder if her astrology plays into that.
I will look it up later.
Interesting. Well, we're going to go to the nighttime and we're going to see the payoff of Eva's clue that she found in the previous episode where she's going to sneak away. First time in a long time that I can remember someone getting caught sneaking away from camp.
So juicy. Love it. Johnny's like straight up concerned. He's like, sees her sneak off and he's like, what the what?
I would be too. What are you talking about? She's in your
alliance. What are you worried about?
I'd be like, why don't I know about this?
Well, then why didn't you follow her?
Thank you. The fact that, first of all, the fact that Shaheen, the way Shaheen woke up is the scariest thing I've ever seen. First of all, why are you above my head so that I look up and see your upside down face? That's from a horror movie. And you're resting one hand on my shoulder and one on the back of my head. Why are you touching me like that?
I'm going to so try to do that to you.
I will probably drop dead of a heart attack. So there's that. And then two, why are you waking up, Joe?
He just goes, why are you waking him up?
Joe, of all people, what do you think he's going to say? He's on Eva's team.
He was like, yeah, okay, cool. Got it.
I'm not worried about Eva.
No, of course
Go back to bed. So then three, why are you going back to bed? He just crawls back into the hammock.
Go follow her then.
That's what I wanted to see.
What he was so sketched out that he wakes up Joe and then just curls back up in the hammock.
I could not believe it. I was like, walk your ass down the beach and see what's going on.
Thank you.
And next time, Joe's not the one to go to. If you're like, Eva's being weird. Joe's going to be like, it's all good.
I think he was thinking, well, Joe's close with Eva. Like Joe will get up and maybe follow her or something. I don't know why. I would have woken up Kyle.
Same.
Or I would have just handled it myself. I don't know.
I was blown away. I was like, this could have been such a good segment of, remember last season when Rachel like snuck down and heard a whole conversation that basically won the game for her? I'm like, track her down the beach and get us the shot of like peering around the bush of Eva in this flame torch like sanctuary. I wanted that so badly.
I would have followed and like stood there right by the torch because like she's gonna go in. You probably can't quite tell what she's risking, whatever. But as soon as she hit that torch on her way out, I'd be like, you need a partner walking you back. God.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
She's like in the middle of reading her thing, and you're like, hello.
Are you risking yet? What's the advantage? Knock knock. How'd it go for you? Did you get something good?
Oh, did you risk something to try to get something else?
It looked fun. You were in there for a while. That's what I'd have done.
Oh my God. I was blown away by that. So Eva.
But when she gets to those torches, her grin could not have been bigger.
She's so excited.
She's so cute. But the like in the torchlight of her being like, it was so funny. She walked in. Through torchlight.
Beaming.
Anyway.
So she's got an extra vote right off the bat, right?
Great. Love it.
Or it's these like rows of.
Let's get into it. Risk it for the best.
Bamboo things. So do you want to risk it for safety without power or just losing the extra vote that you've just been granted?
And that's a 50-50.
Yeah. I was glad she risked it.
I was like, sure, makes sense.
Now,
I mean, like you didn't have an extra vote a minute ago, so why not risk it?
Fair. Do you think extra vote is actually less powerful than safety without power? I think I do. Safety without power really helps you as an individual so much more strongly.
Safe. It's like an idol, but you just don't get to vote. So I think that's pretty strong. I think I would have risked it as well.
Yeah. So she guesses right, and she gets safety without power. And then I actually missed what she was risking it for in the final thing. Did you?
It was an idol.
Oh, it was a full
So the next one is a full-on idol.
I wouldn't risk
but it's one of 3.
Yeah.
And she already has an idol.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have risked it either. I would have played it exactly how she did. She does not risk that. She takes her safety without power and she goes out. And I'm like, girl, this is good till 7 people left. She has an idol.
The idol's probably good till 5, don't you think? Yes.
And she's got this, which is like, at this point, a secret. Not going to be for long.
She's probably already imagining what she's going to do with the million because she's also got Joe.
Yeah, this is when I was like, oh,
Joe would throw himself in front of a bus.
But also, like, let's just time out right now. If Joe and Eva are sitting at finals, Joe's lovely, but she's going to throw out hardware. She wins. Like, what can Joe say to differentiate his game from hers at this point?
Totally agree. And I genuinely believe that Joe would tell the jury to vote for Eva over him. I genuinely believe that.
Well, I don't think he would fight too hard against her, right? Yeah. I think he'd try to plead his case and he'd be like, but she did great too.
She did good.
And she's going to be like, I had that idol and then I got this thing and I won. You know, I just feel like at this point, she might have it.
I know.
But they got to try to get her out. And
she certainly did not reveal any secrets to Shaheen. Huge mistake, I think, from not following her. But in the morning, she does tell Joe.
She tells Joe, Kyle, Joe, and Shaheen.
All 3 of them together about the advantage.
Yeah. So then they feel better, right? Yeah. Joe's like, of course she did. Shaheen's like, okay, now I feel better. But she like sits her little crew down and she's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I went to the beach and this is what happened.
And then Mary comes over and they get hush hush all of a sudden.
Yeah, they do not tell Mary and David.
Clearly, the strong
Mary and David.
6. Yeah, Mary and David.
Okay, never mind. Just go ahead.
You're not Mary.
No, I'm not. Don't even worry about what just happened in short circuit. Okay.
Anyway. So clearly the strong 6 is not quite as strong as there's like a little core 4 within the strong 6.
It seemed like it with this reveal. Yeah, for sure. But I think maybe it was because some people were being sketchy.
But guess what? Kyle tells Camilla about the advantage.
Oh my God, Kyle, like, girl, real quick. Because they don't get a lot of time to talk. So he like throws out all of the information on like David and Mary are still after you. Eva went on a journey last night. She has all of this. Okay, peace out, bye. And he like jets.
And I love these little interactions because like, I mean, Kyle seems better positioned right now from what we're seeing because he's feeding Camilla all this information, but she doesn't seem too stressed by that. She just is like, thank you. I'll file that away in my book and like, see you next time.
Oh, yeah. Juicy. It's like she's not watching the show. She's like, okay. Good to know. Back to the beach I go.
Right. I'm going to go hang out with Star.
Yeah.
But then Kyle leaves Camilla and he's really like nervous about the David situation. He's seeing what happened the previous day when Kyle stuck his neck out for Camilla. He's then seeing, you know, David being so like, what's the problem? It should be behind us. Like this energy is just off. So he's going to talk to Joe.
Are you talking about David? Is that who you said?
Kyle is talking to Joe.
Oh, Kyle's talking to Joe. Okay,
about David.
Yeah.
And Mary.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's like, David is going to like take a shot at me or Shaheen. He's just sharing concerns with Joe. And then David walks up and I love this moment where Kyle starts swinging his arms. Did you see that?
No.
Like David walks up and Kyle's like, oh,
what are we doing?
Nope, everything's normal. It's like the most like, I don't know what to do with my arms moment.
What do I do with my hands?
And it's like, you just blew your cover. You're being so weird.
Yeah, because I remember this conversation was so short because like as soon as David walks up, right, Kyle's just like, back into the hedges here. But this is, I think, where David's going to ruin his game. David
goes aside with Joe now, right?
David's talking to Joe while Joe's in the hammock.
And he's like, I think Kyle and Shaheen are with Camilla.
Yeah.
And as a viewer, once again, I'm like, the man is reading the room. He's got it right.
He does.
But then it takes a turn.
Yeah, I'll tell you what he doesn't have right. It's how you handle a Joe.
What you don't do is question Joe's loyalty and integrity.
No, you do not. No, you do not.
He says, Joe,
Joe,
you went back on your word.
Oh, what?
Joe's face
is
if looks could kill.
Yeah. He was like, what are you saying?
What are you saying?
How so? And David's like, we said we were gonna. Joe's like, excuse me. Never.
Excuse me.
Read my lips.
I never
went
back on that word.
Didn't happen.
His eyes are bugging out of his head.
He's like, I am not capable.
And as much as Joe has really been, I think, smartly playing of seeing where the energy is going around a given vote and just going that way. Like, I think he has this air of mafia boss, but then when the group actually gets together, he's like, you guys tell me.
Joe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But in this moment, I'm like, oh, he's locked in on David.
Well, that was pretty insulting, don't you think?
Totally. I mean, David's like, but just think about it, man. They see it from my perspective.
Yeah.
It's not an insult.
No.
I'm just saying, I'm just inviting you to self-reflect.
Yeah. You remember when I didn't get my way? That was because of you.
Yeah.
That's what he'd like to say.
I'm not coming at you.
Ew.
I'm just stating facts.
Yeah, no, I think this was a huge misstep on David's part. Look, here's what I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
David has the skill set to emotionally manipulate. We saw a little bit of it with Kyle, a little bit of that gaslighting of like, you shouldn't feel this way. This is what's really happening. Mm-hmm. And then he tried it with Joe.
Wrong crowd.
And it just didn't fly with Joe.
No.
Yeah, that was.
Then we see Mitch teaching Star to swim. Parentheses goats.
Oh my God, no!
What? This is the only
Look at my notes.
We are seeing
all
from
caps
them.
Of Star.
I know.
Like 5 exclamations.
Star's got some great moments in Tribal as well, but I'm like, this is what we're getting from them in the edit.
I know.
Oh,
so tough.
It's not good.
Very upset.
Yeah.
But at least we got this, right? Because this is a lovely, sweet,
really sweet
edit where we learn. Oh my God, episode, what are we? 9. And we're just now learning Star can't swim.
I know. And Mitch, like, fully being PE coach, like, let me teach you how to swim.
Yes.
It's really sweet.
It's so sweet. We get a little bit more about Star. She really wants to learn.
Yeah.
She's out in the water. Mitch is like, keep that, kick those legs.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're like, who are these people over here not playing the game?
I know. They're just not involved in the strategy
Not
conversation
at all.
But then we get this great segment with Kyle and Joe where Kyle's like opening up to Joe. I mean, it's like kind of what Eva did to Joe in early episodes of like, I'm going to tell you my truth because I can trust you. And Kyle is doing the same thing where he's like, I just kind of want to explain like this dynamic between me and David and why it's kind of triggering me. Like I was kind of a wild kid. I was incarcerated. I'm not fully under connecting the dots in my head about why this ties back to David. But it is a moment of vulnerability that Joe relishes.
Of course.
And Joe always does this thing where when someone's sharing something, he's like, he's not looking them in the eye.
Yeah.
But you can tell he's so engaged and he's like,
yeah,
I am the fact that you're sharing this with me.
Yeah. He's like, I'm internalizing it.
Yeah.
And it means everything.
Uh-huh.
I love it so much. We are now soul brothers.
Yes. Because Joe's like, I am you.
Yeah.
And you are me.
Yeah.
We are the same.
I got to look up Joe's astrology too.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to point this out because this is a lovely moment, right? We see Kyle sort of connecting with Joe. Again, we don't fully understand the connection of how his rocky childhood, he felt
relates
like
to how David's treating him. Yeah.
But I get that there was some sort of trigger in there. But he tells us in confessional, I'm going to do this for strategy, right? He says, I'm going to give Joe an emotional connection story here to like reel him in.
It's similar to what Mitch did at the well a few episodes back about talking about changing careers and just connecting with someone on a personal level and sharing like secret details about yourself to make someone feel close to you and feel bad about potentially eliminating you.
100%. That is called emotional manipulation. What David was doing with the gaslighting, also emotional manipulation.
Yeah.
I really loved the comparison
because different sort of forms of the same strategy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all at the core. I'm trying to emotionally manipulate you to, do something on my behalf, right?
Yeah.
But David's is this way and Kyle's is this way. And one clearly worked.
One's going to win.
Yeah. It was fun to see like two versions of it.
Yeah. But we already are hearing Joe, I forget if he says it to Kyle directly or in confessional, but like his view of David has shifted. He is like, he's saying like David's demeanor has changed. He seemed more paranoid. You can see that Joe is turning on David and really kind of siding with Kyle.
And I also want to point out, like Kyle also posted on his Instagram a little bit more about his childhood and how it sort of shaped his career and where he has ended up, which was a lovely video to see. So I recommend you guys checking that out.
Now, all of this I thought was leading to David is clearly going to win immunity.
Right. You messaged
when we were watching live in Discord, I was like, hello, we know how this works.
Yep.
Everybody's talking about one person and the energy is like, ooh, this person's bad news. And then that person wins immunity and they have to scramble and like re-strategize after immunity challenge. Different narrative.
Speaking of, we watch live on Discord.
Yeah. I don't get to always, but I had a chance this week.
Yeah, you're sometimes at work, but I'm always watching live with my Discord. That's part of the Patreon. I never mention it. We never talk about this stuff.
It's fun though.
We don't sell ourselves.
I'm usually working because they watch the East Coast feed on Discord and we're on the West Coast. I'm at work, whatever. But like I jumped in there and it was really fun to like chat with everyone and make predictions.
Join our Discord. Okay, great. But so now this is going to Joe and Eva. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, right. We get Joe and Eva right before immunity. Yes.
So Joe and Eva though, because Joe's like, I got it. David makes me uncomfortable. Loving Kyle because he had a rough childhood. Let me go talk to Eva. And this is when I'm like, you can't just go to Eva and be like, what do you think? How are you? I'll do whatever you want.
But he does literally that.
But they cut some stuff out of the edit. I hope that he was like, but do you see like the manipulation? I don't know.
Initially, he doesn't even make it about David. He's like, Eva, Mary gives me pause. And Eva's like, well, I want to bridge the gap because I feel good with everybody. And I'm like,
right.
No offense, but that's just not the best
It's
measure
not the best strategy.
of like who's being honest and who's not. And you've acknowledged that. So
Okay.
I feel like I'm not speaking out of turn.
Now we get to immunity.
Immunity plus reward. Lots of desserts that everybody got excited about with this reward.
Well, because he started with ham and cheese wrap.
Which, fine.
Really? Is it just me? I like wraps are not appealing. If you had said ham and cheese sandwich, even though I don't eat ham or cheese.
Right. So you're eating a tortilla.
Literally, the sandwich sounds better to me than a wrap.
Okay.
Who eats ham and cheese in a wrap?
Yeah, they probably just need to vary up the offerings. They probably already had sandwiches and other rewards.
Apparently, yeah. Apparently, he said veggie wrap. I missed it.
Oh, okay. Good.
That'd have been fine.
Yep.
And there was
then
peach
it's like
cobbler.
Peach cobbler and chocolate covered strawberries. And everybody's really excited about the desserts.
Ugh, did you know I don't like berries?
Sarah,
What?
I feel like you are living Survivor in your everyday life. Like, I don't think it'd be that hard for you to go out there. None of these rewards speak to you.
No.
And the rewards are the things that people are like dying to have. And you're like, I don't even eat this in my real life. I'm not going to miss it on Survivor.
No, I'm not going to miss it. But
also, we've talked about this before, but this one literally forgets to eat. So I think you are sort of built to play Survivor.
when I get hangry, it ain't pretty. I may forget to eat, but then it backfires.
Then everybody else realizes that you've forgotten to eat.
Yeah, trust. My husband's like, you need to eat.
You're like,
shut it down. Yeah, I'm like, you're right. You're right. Okay.
So this immunity is all about the biceps because they're holding up the bar that is connected to the like chute that the ball is in.
The ball's in the chute.
And so again, I'm like, yeah, clearly David is going to win this.
Yeah. No, this is one of those that is like the stronger men arms.
Yeah.
And we immediately get all the ladies.
Oh, Star, Mary, Camilla, gone. Mitch is gone.
And then Eva. Strongest woman out
there.
It's
literally the 4 strong men left.
Literally.
And they literally go in the order you would expect.
Yeah.
Shaheen goes.
Remember when Shaheen was like, I'm not the muscles. This was it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's David versus Joe versus Kyle versus Shaheen.
Yeah.
And then Shaheen's going to drop.
Yeah.
Then Kyle kind of like does a misstep.
Kyle steps off trying to like save himself. And then Joe, his ball is slipping and slipping and slipping. And he is like, you can see him kind of like cramming his elbow into his side to relieve the tension in the bicep, really doing everything he can. And he is laser focused. And I think maybe David is like slightly less laser focused.
Well,
because
David's
he's literally, his biceps are just bulging out of his arms and he hasn't moved.
That ball has not moved an inch.
Yeah.
His arms haven't moved an inch. And we're seeing Joe struggle. I really loved this edit because David's just like, he almost looks over at Joe as like, oh, you old man. Trying to beat me.
I'm going to win this one. He goes so far as to be like, Joe, look, I'll pick you for a reward.
Yeah. Of course.
And I love from the bench, shut up, David. I love that. It was so real. That was so real and such an indication of the like general feeling about David right now. They're like sick of the like showboating. Because remember the one where they were holding up the thing that's 25% of their body weight. And he's like, oh yeah. They're sick of that. You know, they're like, we get it. You're strong.
That was awesome.
But he just moves ever so slightly.
I think he got slightly distracted by Joe.
He did.
And like, he feels the ball move. And for whatever reason, his instinct was to step off the thing, which is what you can't do.
No.
And that's it.
Focus on the
because of course he like saves the ball.
Yeah. Oh,
it doesn't matter.
He was going to win.
Yeah.
And then he didn't. And Joe wins immunity. And David, his face said it all. He was like, this is it for me.
Yeah.
I think it kind of, I don't know, maybe it brought his whole game flash before his eyes where he was like, ooh, I have been playing in a way where I had to win immunity in order to guarantee that it was okay that I've been playing this way.
You think he had that much self-awareness?
Well, he clearly knows that he's in trouble.
Do you think?
I think he did. Based on his like reaction, I don't think this was just like I really wanted to win the challenge. I think it was like, oh no.
I did. Yeah, I thought he felt secure in his group, but he was just disappointed he didn't win. I don't know. Yeah.
Because then when we got back to camp, I wrote down in my notes, David's screwed and he knows it. And Mary's doing like so much consoling. It just feels a little more than just like, sorry, good buddy. Like, most people lose the immunity challenge.
Right.
So, like,
not stuntman David.
Yeah, but like it just felt like a lot of like, oh no, it's
okay. He was really upset. I mean, we see Mary consoling him, but then we hear from Kyle that it was like absurdly long.
Yeah.
And like the consoling maybe was like super consoling.
Yeah.
Is what he alludes to.
He does allude to that, doesn't he? He does allude to that.
Which I love, a cheeky editor just leaving that little nugget in.
Then my favorite moment of the episode. David and Mary are in the jungle. And this is Star. Would y'all vote Shaheen?
Yes, whatever you want, Star.
Runs out of nowhere. He was cracking up.
I was like, Star coming into the okay.
I'm like, is this your strategy?
Yeah.
I'm obsessed. This is how you approach people.
I need more, please.
Oh my God.
I want to see a compilation of her doing that to everyone.
She is the Carolyn of the season, and we need the camera time to match it. I'm
she is
mad. That level of character.
She literally is like, let's go, Shaheen, and they turn her down.
Yeah, and so she's like, okay, Mitch. And I'm like, that's not the plan either.
I'm like, no to all of that. What are you talking about?
It's so good.
Oh my God, that was hilarious. But David's like, no, I will never vote Shaheen. So we get that like information.
Yeah.
And Mary's like, oh, girl, I wish I could.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're like, I think it's gonna be Mitch. And then at this point, I'm like, are you kidding me? This is gonna blow back on Mitch.
I know.
I'm so mad.
So then we go over to the reward camp. Oh, by the way, like Mitch's reaction to getting picked for the reward was so sweet when Joe is like, this isn't game. We didn't even
talk about who he picked.
This is human to human.
Yes.
Who did he pick? He picked Mitch.
He picked Mitch right away because Mitch is the only person to not have a reward. And I was like, bless. Thank you. And then, of course, he did Shaheen and
Eva. Then, of course, Eva. Was like...
I mean, hello, blatant in David's face.
I said this in the Discord. If I were in this game, I would be all over Joe and Eva. I would be so mad.
You would be so Chrissy.
It is so obvious. It's more obvious than David and Mary. And David and Mary seem like they're in love. Like, it is crazy. I was like, there is no reason that you need to pick Eva for this reward. She's fine. But anyway.
But of course, she was his third choice.
Yeah, there were like 6 other people that he could have chosen. He could have picked Star.
Why did you pick Star?
He could have picked somebody else that maybe he needs to build an alliance with. I'm like, you're good with Eva. Like, you don't need to bring her.
I mean, that's true, but it was just like such a shove in David's face, don't you think?
100%.
David just said, I'll take you on reward.
Yeah.
And Joe went 3 people before he.
Yeah. So anyway, Mitch is there at the reward, and he is expressing his frustration at his position in the game.
Yeah. Fair.
And he actually throws out David's name, and Shaheen is thrilled to hear it.
100%. Mitch is like, you know who I'd like on? It's David. And Shaheen's like, you know what? I've been planting seeds for days.
He's like, let me walk you back.
Let's cue the flashback.
How long I've been planting this seed and watering it.
Yeah, we literally get a montage of Shaheen just planting seeds to people over days.
Which made me, again, join us in Discord for the live watches.
Really
because I was like, now I'm worried for Shaheen.
Yeah.
He's blowing up his, not blowing up, but like amping up his own game of like, look at all the work I've done on David. And I'm like, oh, is this going to blow up in your face?
Right. No, he's too good for that.
No.
So we're going to not get much from this reward group. That's it.
Yeah.
David and Eva are going to talk when they all get back together on the same camp.
Mm-hmm.
And he's expressing his concern that Camilla isn't scrambling. Like, he's getting paranoid.
Yeah. It's this whole kind of convoluted, like, we think Shaheen is an idol and he's going to give it to Camilla and save her. And like, what if? And I'm like, the odds of that happening are so slim. Like, what? And so they're like, let's just do Mitch, because they're not concerned about Mitch.
I'm concerned that you are
Sarah
randomly taking out
almost lit Discord on fire.
Yeah, I was
like if this blows back on Mitch.
I'm so mad. They've like barely shown us Mitch lately.
Yeah.
And then they're just like throwing his name out like that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But basically before we had to travel, it's like, are Joe and Eva ready to turn on David? That's the question. I personally was like, I feel like the edit's taking us there.
To David?
Yeah.
100%. Which is why I thought they're tricking us.
Yeah.
It seems so obviously directed towards David, where Kyle is pulling Eva aside now, and he's like, I'm considering voting David, and Shaheen's like, I would be comfortable with that. And they're like, you can see they're kind of working Eva. This is actually when I was like the most frustrated at the Joe Eva relationship. Many moments this episode, but this is when she goes to Joe and she's like, they're saying David, and he's like, whatever you want to do.
I know. Joe, stop that.
I'm like,
you gotta like give her more information and not just whatever you want. I was like, I think we're actually gonna take out David.
Yeah.
But maybe that was me not wanting Mitch to go. Because a lot of people said that they were blindsided by this. Because I didn't feel as blindsided that we actually got it.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get to tribal, because this tribal was long to the point that we were like, what are we missing?
Yeah.
Why is this so
I was
long?
like, well, who's playing a shot in the dark?
Yeah.
What's happening? We need to revote. Like, there's too much time left. But when we get there, Joe's like, we're at the point in the game where you have to know your strengths and your weaknesses socially. It is so directed at David.
Oh, really? I missed that.
Oh, I was like, yikes. That's like a blow dart into the neck at David.
Oof. Star says she's looking for cracks.
And he was like, not going to be me, girl. Look somewhere else.
Nope. She's like, I'm solid and set. Got no cracks over here.
Yeah.
And then Mary said something about like, what if you strike first and the other was never going to strike? And I was like, girl, why are you trying?
I don't even know what she's saying.
I think she's saying, why would y'all come for David and myself? Well, I don't know. I think of them as a unit at this point.
So she's kind of like, let's keep the strong six.
Like, we're never coming for you. Like, don't think that way.
Because it does come after this moment of David. Again, he's like pretty confident at the beginning of this tribal, where he's like, look, everything's out in the open, Jeff, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And Shaheen is like, well, guess what? Survivor's about breaking up the status quo. And then Mary's like, nobody over here is coming for you, so don't come for us.
David says there's a path to the end being honest. I've got Camilla saying something like, but will the jury vote for him?
She literally, this is again so targeted at David. She's like, jury management. And I don't know if she like exactly says it's about David.
Yeah.
I think she might have.
I think she did, because it was in response. Like, he had just said something and she was like, well, I don't know if they'll vote for him.
Your jury management is super poor, my man.
Yeah.
And then they cut to Chrissy and Cedric, who are like, they're basically like, yeah, she said it. We're not voting for you, David.
But then Star is like, because Camilla didn't say it that strong.
Yeah.
Star starts laughing and Star's like, what she actually said was, ain't voting for David.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes.
Camilla's like, why are you laughing at me, Star? And Star's like, because what you really mean is, if you put me over there, I'm not voting for you. And Camilla's like,
I'm going to need Star and Camilla to laugh the whole rest of this time.
I know.
I need more of them.
Yes. So to me, this whole tribal was kind of shocking because there's so much talk about final 3. And I'm like, y'all are at final 9. There's so much time before final 3. I think you're kind of getting ahead of yourself. And yes, like every move in the game is what gets you to that final 3. But this was like, just to me, a little bit of an outlier of a tribal of talking about final 3 plans this early in the game. But that's where everyone's head at.
Yeah. They do have to look for the end game. We're getting close to it.
I would start thinking about that at final 6.
We're going to see David vote for Mitch. We're going to see Mitch vote for David.
So all of my Shaheen fears are gone at this point.
I'm not worried about Shaheen. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. But then we're going to get to the votes.
Yep. It's tied until we're 3-3.
Yeah, we're 3-3 with Mitch and David. Mitch and David. That third one, we see Mary being like, what?
They're literally like, wait, who put that in bed? Because they had done the math in terms of they probably thought like, I don't know, Camilla's going to vote against them.
Could be Camilla.
Mitch.
Could be Camilla.
Maybe they thought they had Star, right?
Right.
So they're like, wait a minute.
Which they technically did.
They technically did, yeah.
And then the rest are going to be David. And that's it. David is gone. I will say why we needed this much extra time was just for this moment for David to stare everybody down.
He takes a minute to get up out of his chair.
Yep.
And he takes a long look at Joe. And the moral of this story is don't accuse Joe of going back on his word.
I wouldn't recommend it. No.
Yeah. Yeah. But he gives everybody a long look.
He does.
Mm-hmm.
He slowly takes his time leaving. Mm-hmm.
And then he turns around after Jeff snuffs the torch. And I thought he was going to go on a rant.
Yeah. I thought he was going to do a good dig, but he didn't really. He was just like.
Similar maybe to the dig he took at you.
Oh.
We have to talk about
that. Now's the time we say, y'all, watch my interview with David.
It's so good.
He came for me.
Y'all, he did.
And I mean, fair.
Honestly the first, I'm surprised. Has anyone ever done this?
No.
Because we talk some trash. We have a good time, but like we are hard on people sometimes.
Sure.
Because like we have to have an opinion. That's what we're here for, I think. So we take a stance on people playing a good game versus a bad game. And I'm shocked that it's taken this long for someone to be like, yeah, you had a lot to say about my game.
I loved it. I honestly loved it.
I did too, because by the way, it was all in good fun.
I thought so.
We've taken more than our fair share of shots at David over the course of recapping this season.
Yeah.
For him to take one moment to be like, yeah, you know, people scoffed at my game, yourself included.
I mean, that's fair. I have.
Yeah. But like, he was so kind.
He was.
And congenial the rest of the interview.
I thought he was super charming, which, you know, I think we saw that like the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Like how, you know, lovely and charming he was. And he was with me. And he threw a little dig at me. And
I loved it.
Yeah.
I really did.
I am clipping it and putting it on Instagram. I thought
you
it was
should.
So fun.
Because it was so people were coming to your defense in the comments. And I'm like, everybody calm down.
Yeah, it's okay. Do not worry about me.
Fine.
Yes.
And he was such a great interview. Like it wasn't like you came for me and so I'm shutting down and I'm not giving you a good interview.
Right.
He gave you an excellent interview.
Yes.
He had, I thought, really interesting information to share about Mary and her place in the 6 versus the 5. Like, it's a great interview.
Is it what we saw in the edit? No, it is not.
No, it is not. And he thanked you for what you do at the end of the interview.
I was like, sir,
this is a good man.
I am not a frontline worker. I recap reality television. You do not need to thank me for what I do. So please go watch it. It's a very interesting, and do not feel like you need to come to my defense. It is 100% fine.
Yeah.
I did not ask him about milk.
Missed. I'm sure everybody else did.
Yeah, I was like, please, everyone's going to talk to him about milk.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to talk to him about is milk. So
because he did
not happen.
His game was worthy of more conversation than that. Like, I know, look, I'm seeing in the comments even, like, he's a polarizing character.
Yes.
But, like, I don't think he played a bad game. Ultimately, like, I think he had really good instincts about who was working together and who wasn't. His demeanor rubbed people the wrong way. But he could have been, I think, if he had survived this tribal, he would have won many more immunities. He would have won me many more draft points, which I would have been thrilled about.
David has all the strong alliance on his draft. We're okay with one of them going. David.
I think you have Shaheen.
I don't think I do.
I don't.
Oh, really?
I don't think I do. I think Shaheen's the one guy you have left.
Oh, I'm going to double check
Let's take a look.
But also, okay, instead of milk, I asked him about Fall Guy, which I don't know if you guys know the movie Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling, but it's about a stunt performer, and it is a really good movie.
Oh yeah, I saw that you asked him about that. I know you love that movie.
Didn't know if that was like I didn't know how that would play.
Yeah.
But we laughed about it.
You had such a good moment.
It was a fun moment. I'm glad I ended up asking.
Yeah.
Because I do like that movie. And so we chatted about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really, I thought it was I thought he either gave us some really juicy revisionist history or we didn't get an accurate edit, and that is, no one's gonna really know.
Yeah.
We can all sort of have our opinions on that. But anyway, Asher, what's up? Calm down. It's Uruguay pesos. Oh,
what does that mean?
Just want the amount. Just want to say hi. Always listening. Just not live. Will y'all cover? Yes, Australia versus.
Oh, we have to.
Yes. Oh, David, are you into it?
Yes, I really want to watch this season.
Okay, great. We might have David on board. Okay, fantastic.
Unless you already have a co-host.
Well, Chantel's absolutely going to be involved, but
maybe I can come on in a guest capacity or something.
100%. I'm so excited about this season. Did you see that Parvati,
Sari,
Tony?
I know.
100%. I love it.
Yeah.
And you don't know all the Australian players, but Shawnee.
Is David part of it?
Yes,
the
David
King
from Dundee.
Survivor. Okay.
George, who you'll get to know.
Okay.
But Shawnee is like their Parvati.
Wow.
So it's going to be exciting. So absolutely. Thank you for the super chat, Asher.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That was my fun interview with David.
It was a good one. Check it out for sure. I loved the preview for next week.
Ooh.
The outsiders are coming for
finally
Joe,
because it's 4 versus 4 now, y'all.
Yes. Well, yes.
Right.
That's right. Because they took a shot at David. So now that they've excommunicated Mary from the strong whatever by getting out David. He was her link to all of that. So now, and this is why I have faith in Mary, and I feel like she might be the one who really wrangles the end game, because we do see her kind of talking to the stars, the Mitches, the Camillas, and I assume Camilla's going to bring in Kyle, and it sounds like they're going to take a shot at Joe. Normally I say don't believe the preview, but the preview from last week, they were like, welcome to the game, David. Remember when Shaheen was like, oh, welcome to the party, David. And then David got eliminated.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do that 2 weeks in a row, but like, it makes me a little worried for Eva. Like, are they going after another duo? They were clearly
You can't be worried about Eva. I mean, unless something just ridiculous happens, but Eva has 2 pieces of hardware. If she goes out with that, I will lose my mind. I feel like she's safe.
Yeah.
They'll just try to like make her, what's the word? Oh my God.
Like flush her idol?
Yeah, thank you, flush.
Yeah.
I think they'll try to flush something.
Yeah.
If anything. So maybe they'll do like Joe and Eva just to make her flush, but it'll probably be Joe or something like that. Although I'm not saying Joe's going next.
Right.
But just if we can have 4 versus 4, although Star was one of these 3 Mitch votes with David and Mary.
I know. That's why she's a goat.
Which means no one looped her in to the actual plan. And that is disappointing.
It is.
I don't like that. But the upside is maybe they will drag her to the end and she doesn't get taken out.
I mean, I'd love that just for the entertainment value of Star, but I don't think it like speaks highly of her game necessarily at this point.
No.
But I really love, because we've seen this strong 6 kind of running it.
Yeah.
And I love Mary, Star, Mitch, Camilla coming together and recognizing the moment.
I want to see Mitch in more conversations. I want to see Camilla in more conversations. I want to see Star in more conversations.
In a conversation.
Yeah, in a conversation where she's not running down the beach and like, oh, this person. Yeah, please.
Yeah.
All right. Fun stuff. I'm loving
Very
this.
fun. Me too.
We still have several more episodes, but we are definitely.
I know we're at 8.
Feels like we're getting down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah. I mean, there could be like 4 more episodes probably, because we're already at 9. Usually there's like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
So we'll probably get we might get a double episode soon with a double elimination. We usually start the finale with like 5 or 6. Right. So that's like potentially just 3 more people to eliminate before the finale. So more good stuff coming.
All right. Thank you, everyone here in the chat. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us.
Yes. And if you're joining us later, let us know in the comments how you feel about David going home. I think we know the general consensus, but do share your thoughts.
But there was someone who commented like how polarizing he is, like lots of love and lots of hate. And I thought that was very accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let us know your feelings on David, the future of this strong alliance, and who's going to win the draft this season.
And the Discord that we talked about way too much in this episode is part of our Patreon. So go over there and check it out if you would like to chat with us about the shows.
Yes.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.